I want to talk to business owners today that have had their business established for, say, 5, 10, 20, or even more years. There might be a chance that you've gotten yourself stuck into a rut. You've done the same things over and over again. Things aren't really changing. You know you're stagnant. You know your team is stagnant. But you don't know how to get out of that rut. Therefore, you don't know how to change things. And what I want to do today is talk about a new formula for change. How can you get the kind of change that you want to get out of your business so that you can achieve the goals that you want to achieve? And you know you might have to stir things up, but that's okay. So let's talk about this new formula for change for you, the business owner, to get your team out of being in the stuck mode. So we've got a formula here that we call T times A times E equals C. If you're taking notes, go ahead and write this formula down. T times A times E equals C. So what does this all mean? T stands for top leaders times all leaders times every meeting equals change. So let's break this down. Top leaders. Now, you may have a very small group of top leaders in your business. It may be you and maybe one or two other individuals. If it's just you, that's easy. If it's a few others, a little bit more difficult. But top leaders need to be in on making change happen. There has to be, the top leaders have to come to an agreement that, yeah, we're going to need to make changes, and here's what these changes look like. So once you have that in place, the next thing to multiply is to have all leaders on board. Now, if it's a team of 5 people, that might be every employee. If it's a team of 50 people, maybe it's going to be the management team that runs the day-to-day business, and then you have the rest of the employees. So they need to be on board. Then we multiply that by every meeting. So once we have the top leaders on board, once you get the rest of the leadership on board, now we have to have every single meeting that we have as a team has to be focused in on the things that we have to change. You see, the problem is that a lot of times we get agreement on change, we get some of the leaders to agree to the change, and we might introduce it once, maybe twice, but then it goes by the wayside. So every single meeting that you have with your team has to have this focus of what we are changing. It has to be drilled into the DNA of the business. That's going to take time and that's going to take effort. But once you have all 3 of these multipliers in place, you're going to get real change. Now, let's talk a little bit about what are the 3 things to focus in on and bringing about change. So there's 3 main areas we want to take a look at. Number 1, reaching people. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. This isn't just about getting new customers, but reaching people with a message of transformation that you can bring. Number 2 is developing your teams. How are you going to develop your teams to make this change happen? And then number 3, we want to learn about how to simplify processes because complexity is the killer. We're going to talk about this here in just a minute. So let's talk about the first thing of reaching people. You see, reaching people is beyond getting new customers. Yes, we want to go out there. Yes, we want to get new customers. But let's think a lot more globally. Our job is to reach beyond just our current customers or even our new customers. But it's the entire community around us that we need to reach out to. And you may say to yourself, Kevin, I don't have the budget to put a message out to every single person in my community to get to us to know them. You don't need that. What you need is you have a passionate team of people who's going to go out there and talk with people. See, the whole thing here is it's helping people know that you exist and you have a solution that's going to make their lives better. How do you do that? You talk about what are you doing to make your community better, whether that is through your product and through your service, or things that you do outside of your business that makes the community better? Is it through an associate, a Rotary, a Lions, something of a service organization? Are you doing activities inside in your community directly that make a huge difference? Are you doing charitable work? Are you giving away things that impact people's lives? See, here's the thing is, what are you doing to make our world a better place? Maybe you don't realize all the great things that you're doing, and maybe you need to figure out a way to put that out into the larger community. And here's the thing is, what is your impact on transforming society? And you may go to yourself, we're not transforming society. Well, actually, you are. If you're selling a product or service that improves the life of one single person, you are transforming society, and you may not even realize that. What are those changes that your team has made, or your product or your service has made, and what are you doing to get that message out there? Here's the question is, how well are you communicating this? Are you putting out press releases? Are you developing relationship with influential people within your community who can help you spread that message? And once you get the chance to spread that message, there's a wildfire that can catch on by helping your community realize the great things that are impacting this community because you're doing things that help transform people's lives. You need to find a way to get that message out there. So now the second thing is developing your teams. It's developing a healthy and devoted team members is hard work. It's not easy. But here's the problem is that when you don't develop that, when you are equipping others to do the work, it's harder than doing the work yourself. You see, it's easier for you just to push people aside going, I'll do that. Then they get to stand there and watch you. Well, what's that good is that doing? See, when you don't equip others and do it all yourself, it has a crippling effect on your business. And I've seen this before where business owners or senior managers, rather than train and develop people, it's too much. It's just too much energy, it's too much effort, and so they do it themselves. And their team members become stagnant. So here's the thing is you need to give your team members more responsibility. You need to basically get them to do things that maybe you don't typically, that you do it, that they need to do it instead of you doing it for them. And see, you need to hire the right people, not just who is available. Too many times we are desperate to find an employee. And so we go out there and we interview people and we kind of go, you know what? I think you'll work. Let's get you in here. Instead of selecting the right person for the job. You see, when you hire the wrong person out of desperation, you're costing yourself so much more instead of taking the time to get the right person in place. And then once you have them in place, you need to develop a better process for onboarding new team members and develop healthier teams. You see, the problem is that we get people on board and they're lost. And we don't think they're lost, but they are, because they have no systematic process to onboard themselves and get acquainted with your culture. So we need to make sure that we are developing really good teams that make a huge difference in people's lives. And then finally, simplify processes. See, this can be one of the most pressing issues with the greatest potential of net positive returns. See, here's the problem is complexity kills growth. Companies that have been around for a long time have developed ways of doing things. And a lot of ways of doing things become very overly complex and you don't even realize it. Therefore, you must be great at identifying complexity and eliminating that. So the question you have to ask yourself then is, where are those bottlenecks that constrict flow, process, in production, communication, teamwork, etc.? Take a look at all of the things that prevent you from making things happen. Something that was a great idea and a great process 10 to 15 years ago has morphed into an overly complex process that slows everything down. Start finding ways to streamline your business. See, here's the thing is complexity never goes away naturally. You must be intentional about finding those areas of complexity. So let's take a look and finalize this out. Let's review this formula for change. T times A times E equals C. So top leaders times all leaders times every single meeting creates change. So go out there. I want you to go out there and create the change. If you are a business owner and you are struggling with change in your business, I want you to click below. There's a link where you can sign up for a 30-minute strategy session with me to help you figure out what are the complex things that you need to change and simplify it. What are those areas in better communicating and reaching out to people? What are those things that you need to do to help you get that overall change that you know you need in your business? Hope this helped you today. I'll look forward to hearing from you.